Like every other career, backend programmer need to have some quality also in them to be a successful backend programmer and to ensure growth. Like if you see, for being a pilot, you can be an extrovert, introvert, you can be a funny guy or serious guy, but you need to be physically fit and you need to be always alert and good at math. Like that, backend programmer should also try to gain some qualities in them so that their growth is ensured and they can solve problem easily in their career. So some of those implicit qualities are, firstly, they need to be cool. Don't They can't be really restless, because if you have like 1 hour time and you can really solve two problems in 1 hour, then there is no good in trying to solve five problem in 1 hour. Just solve the two problem in 1 hour, but make those two problem really perfect. Discipline is very much expected. People think that okay, developer should be nerd, they should work at night, work at late night, etc., etc., but that is not true. If you want ensured growth, you need to be disciplined. You need to maintain some calendar so that you don't miss any event or your meetings. You need to set an alarm so that you can finish your task on time, and you should maintain to-do list so that there is your work-life balance, and you know beforehand that when the deadline for some particular task is going to come. Try to be data driven. In our country, we see people run from really intuition. So I feel good about it, I do it. I feel bad about it, I don't do it. Someone said this, someone said that, but that actually doesn't count in real world. If you think this is good, this is bad, this is what you should do, it should be backed by some level of data. So previously someone did it, he got something good out of it or bad out of it. Compile those things in your mind and then decide what you should do or what you shouldn't do. And you need to be adaptive. Sometimes you should go out of your comfort zone. Like you want to work alone, but when you are working in a company, you need to really communicate with the business team, quality assurance team, and others. So, and every company has different culture. So you need to adapt to those cultures. You need to be fit yourself in those teams. Taking liability is the biggest quality expected in a software developer or backend developer, because especially in remote jobs where you are expected to work as an individual contractor or as an individual performer, you need to really take liability and show due diligence. Whenever you are assigned any task or you are assigned any responsibility, you should plan it out, you should do it properly, and you should ensure that it is deployed properly, maintained properly, everything. So if you are assigned to a task, doing the coding, testing it, creating the PR, letting other know that there is a PR and they should review it, then whether it is being correctly deployed by QA or not, all is your liability. And in this first world and latest world, being a cultural fit is really important. Mostly remote companies and big companies, they maybe can do some 19 and 20 on technical aspect, but they will not sacrifice their cultural fit aspect. If you are not a good communicator, if you are not a good fit for them, if you don't align with their thinking, with their perspective, then maybe you are not going to be hired, or if you are hired, maybe after some days you will be cut off. And always remember, being optimal is the best solution. Don't try to be the best of best. That is not always a solution. In software engineering, it is always gaining something and sacrificing something. Same thing goes for your personal growth. You cannot be best at everything, so you should be best at something, maybe bad at something, or good at something. Always try to be at the optimal position, whatever your company needs, team needs, or needed for your future growth. Work-life balance is important. Sometimes we sacrifice our personal life for companies, for teams. We think that okay, this will do good for me, this will give me a good career, but it doesn't happen actually in the long run. In the long run, you will find that it is hurting your performance, it is hurting your mental health. So whenever you take up a job, you join any team or company, try to learn about their culture first, tradition first. Do not sacrifice your personal life. That will not bring any good in future. And another thing, this is a matter of debate. Many people say, okay, English is not a skill, it's a language. But trust me, for software engineers, English is a skill. So as good as you are in English, as better communicator you are, and that adds a really good point on your quality list. Now, how you play in the team and also play as an individual. To be in the team, you need to be a good listener. You are maybe you are very talkative, maybe you are an extrovert, but uh, grow up this tendency of listening to other first, then put your opinion, and learn to do SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis means S for strength, W for weakness, O for opportunity, and T for threat. So every decision or every options you have to solve a problem, you need to have the capability to the SWOT analysis. Okay, this option has this strength and this threat. Then you need to compare all the option and find out the optimal option from those all those options and decide yourself. So not only in software development but also in personal life and business decisions, you can do this SWOT analysis and find the best thing. So this is one of the way of being data driven. And you need to obey your leader no matter what, but if it is hurting your personal life or hurting the company's greater benefit, then you need to really inform the higher authority or contact the higher authority that okay, your leader is crossing your zone. And always remember, courtesy begets courtesy, so be courteous to other people, but oiling is bad. Whether the company is doing that, managing director is very much fond of oiling, likes those people, but if you start oiling, you are stuck in that company. Maybe the managing director is giving you some facilities, but your growth is stuck in that domain. You cannot think out of that box. So oiling is never bad, even it seems like that okay, it is giving me some benefit, but it is not. And when you are working as a individual contributor, maybe in a remote company or maybe in your own team, you are implementing a feature yourself, you have to take bold decisions, you have to work on trial and error basis. So don't be really afraid to do something, and then if it is wrong, then you shift to other ideas. But you need to have your own explanation why you are trying that option, so that when the company asks or the team asks why did you take the decision, you can really tell them okay, these are the reason behind, that's why I took this decision. Then they will understand. And if you can make some reusable module in the process, that is very good. So always try to develop in module form, so that your team or company can in future use your module if they need it. So that will give a very good impression that you are, though as an individual contributor you are working, you are leaving some mark. Another thing, especially those who do remote work, we face procrastination. So the problem is that like it is a sprint of 2 weeks, so we tend to do the work at the last hour, which makes us very lazy, and it affects our personal life also. We are very lazy to take decision, we are very lazy to start work, we are very lazy to finish work. This is the mental condition, and we need to really care for at it and make us prepare beforehand that okay, we should not fall for procrastination. And if we fall, then there are many ways you can search online how to handle procrastination. You need to actively follow this process to make yourself out of this mental condition. I should not say mental condition, but it is a harsh condition on mind. And you need to learn how to read people and culture. There are a few ways or protocols you can maintain. So always learn from the expectation of other people. Like you are talking to engineering manager, try to understand what is his expectation and deliver in that way. Maybe he want you to be really slow runner, then you code slowly. Maybe he wants you to be fast runner, you code fast. And in a talk, in a meeting, or in a decision making position, interview, etc., you take control, you put your opinion, explain those properly, and take the control, so that people get the idea that okay, this person talks sense, this person talks logic. And when you are joining a new company or you are joining a new team, or within the company there is a change or shuffling of the team, then you go for gradual adaptation. Don't think that okay, I have started working here and I will mix with them 100% on the first day. It may take time. The good companies always have like 1 month or 2 month time to let the newcomer really adapt to their culture. And you need to be smart enough to understand what to sacrifice and what to not. So like from your personal preference, someone may sacrifice 10,000 BDT salary, and someone may sacrifice 1 hour extra office time, but not everyone has the luxury. So your colleagues are sacrificing their 2 hours time after office hour working for the company without any benefit. Doesn't matter, doesn't mean you have to do it also. If you need to give your time after office to your family, to your child, you need to explain that to your manager, you need to explain to your higher authority that you cannot give extra time. But don't be harsh on them. Don't you say like that, okay, I will leave the job, etc., etc. Obviously you need to search for another job, but tell them that you are facing some problem, and if that can be adapted somewhere so that you can also contribute to the company and you can also give time to your family. Another thing is thinking from the other side. Many a times we just think from our own perspective, for our own benefit. That creates some problem, that creates some illogical perception also, leads to some illogical decision making. But when someone giving a veto to your point, try to understand from which point they are talking, what's their standpoint. So if you try to understand that, maybe you can counter it better, or maybe you will also accept their logic. Now, one of the thing in a backend programmer faces that the knowledge repository is ever changing. Every day new technologies, new solutions are coming. There is always new versions coming, and a lot of things to know, a lot of things to learn, a lot of things to implement. So how to collect those knowledges? So we have tried to really categorize these sources according to knowledge. Like if you need any domain based learning, like you want to learn Java, you want to learn Python, you want to learn SQL database system, you want to learn NoSQL database system. For this kind of learning, the best is to allocate daily reading time, like for 1 hour, 2 hour, half an hour daily you will read on this topic. The resources can be books, documents, case studies, even YouTube playlists. This can be. And but the book as a resource is very verbose. So as a job holder and a family man, maybe might not have that much time. One of the ways to use ChatGPT or Gemini, etc., to really summarize the books. You also will find many books or articles that summarizes those big books. And another one is learning on demand. Like there are certain cases where you need to solve some problem in your project which has been already solved. You will find those knowledge on Gemini, ChatGPT, YouTube, Google, or in your local programming communities. And there are some problems that are complex and compound which are not readily available. The first thing is, if you try yourself, if you cannot try yourself, ask your community, and maybe you will get some suggestion from the community. Otherwise, you have any good senior who has a good communication understanding with you, you can take mentorship from him. Another thing is casual learning. Those who are not involved into daily reading or on a vacation or something like that, they can really read blogs, twitters, newsletters, read some post on LinkedIn, see a small YouTube video, subscribe to Medium, Dev.to, etc. This will give you some discrete knowledges. Like maybe you don't know about partial indexing, so you have subscribed to a Medium or Dev.to, article comes about partial indexing, and you learn that. This is really half an hour reading or 15 minutes reading, and you have learned a new paradigm, new perception. Then for skill up and perception building, what I did or we did at Intimationinc, we do free workshops, boot camps, and joint TikToks. This will really help you understand what the industry is going, how people are solving big problems, and also grow some perception in your mind. Because technical knowledge is one thing, and approach to a problem is another thing. You can read book, you can see videos, etc., that will give you technical knowledge, technical hold. But when you want to build some perspective to problem solving, really talking with others, joining workshops, boot camps, listening to TikToks works. And cherry on top is if you can do pair programming or take some consultancy from mentoring from senior guys who are really doing well in this domain. Another thing is, if you learn something, try to apply it. Don't just memorize, because applying puts you to some new challenges, some new errors, exceptions, etc. that will help you in your project. When you do it, you will take less time, and you will always consider that, okay, this problem may arise, this problem maybe I need to solve before jumping into the solution. Then you need to really build a portfolio. One of the important thing about portfolio for remote job is open source contribution. If you can do it, very good. If you cannot, keep it on your to-do list. Having some live project is good. If you don't have, doesn't matter, but commercial project gives a benefit. You will go one step ahead from others. Collecting LinkedIn recommendation and keeping a good LinkedIn portfolio is very good. You may get job offer from your LinkedIn profile. I got 2 or 3. Having a community of forum presence will give you a branding inside your country. Like if you are a good member or active member in Laravel groups of Bangladesh, people know you. When maybe someone need a good Laravel developer, they will knock you. And also, like when you have a good branding, good portfolio, the interview doesn't become like an exam. It becomes like a conversation. Company will tell you what they need, and you will tell them what you offer. If that matches, you go for the job. So building a portfolio and creating an image like, okay, I know things, that really helps. Sharing knowledge with others, writing blogs, commenting on others, solving others' problems, maybe connecting with people sometime, meeting up. This helps. This grows your image also. This grows your knowledge also. And don't pretend. It's like don't pretend like you know everything. But actually, in LinkedIn, there is a fun that people don't know much but act like they know a lot of things. But I don't think that is true. If you know how to write a select statement in SQL properly, you are a master of SQL. So you have the right RIGST, you have the right to write a blog on select statement. And doesn't matter if other things that you are pretending or something like that, doesn't matter, you just write it. And learning how to write a good resume and cover letter is important, because you see, for a job there will be 1000, 2000, even 5000, 6000, 10,000 applications, and those are really sorted not by human eye but application tracking systems, ATS softwares. And if you don't know how to write a good resume and cover letter, you are going to be abandoned in the screening session. So from the 10,000 or 1000, 5000, they will really take 20 or 30 or 40 best resumes. If you don't know how to write a resume, your technical knowledge is not going to be put into test even. So resume is important. Now, how to apply and some interview tips is very limited tips. So if your skill match more than 50%, apply. I personally apply 5 to 6 jobs daily. This is maybe too much, but do 1 or 2 every day, or at least 5 or 6 every week if you are looking for job. And tailor your resume according to the job post. Like if your job post says they need a leader, so write what you did as a leader in your past companies. If they say they need a very good front-end developer, write what you achieved as a front-end developer in your past role. And before joining the interview, learn about the company, their work, their projects, what they are working with, their culture, etc. Be very oriented about that. And always remember that being fit is more important than being a master. And creativity is good. Some people are really bright, they are creative, they can do magic, but in most cases, or 99% cases, practice and hard work really pays off. So work hard and do practice. Technical backdate: before being a backend engineer, you need to be very good at problem solving. So I will say you need to have profound knowledge on data structure and algorithm. So if you don't know now, you just go through what is big O complexity and get this idea, learn about pointer. Then what you need people often ask that how much proficiency I need in coding or context programming or problem solving. The simple answer is, if you can solve 8 out of 10 lead code medium problem, that is enough. So I have given some items here. You need to know data structure like array, string, hash table, linked list, stack, queue, recursion, tree, graph. There is maybe try and other also. And for algorithm, you need to learn sorting, searching, dynamic programming, ad hoc. These are the bare minimum. Just learn these first, then grow on top of this. And you can also start with blind 75 or lead code for building some confidence. there is grind 75 and other curated list also, but the target is to solve 8 problem out of 10 lead code medium level problem. There is a full stack anomaly now. Everywhere people are wanted to be full stack, but my idea is someone cannot be good at backend and front end at the same time. So either you are good at backend and you know front end, or you are good at front end and you know backend. So maybe this is too good for the company, good for developer or not, I don't know, depends person to person. But backend people having some front end knowledge is good. It's not a bad idea, because when you are developing API and you know some level of front end, and you know the challenges the front end developers face, then you can really understand the expectation of the front end developer. So, and you can keep that in mind when you are designing an API endpoint or something like that. You can really keep in mind that, okay, this will be easier for front end developers to adopt, and maybe front end developers will expect this data in this format. And learning multiple language or paradigm is a good skill now. Yeah, this is a good skill. So if you know Golang, there is no problem in learning Node.js. If you JavaScript, if you know JavaScript, there is no problem in learning Golang or something that. And for some like machine learning, you can learn Python, because learning a new language is not a challenge. You can learn a new language every day. It's only just few points. Here I have mentioned, or we have mentioned, some framework versus money thing. So we get a lot of question: which framework to learn, which framework has more job, which framework has better payment, etc., etc. So based on 37,000 global jobs and 11,000 plus local jobs, we have categorized job versus amount of job, framework versus amount of job versus payment. Now growth hack, this is not actually a growth hack. This is not hack, probably you will have to do it anyway. So always fix your next goal and work on that. Your goal can be small, goal can be big, like you want to join Google, that can be your goal, or you want to learn NoSQL, MongoDB, that can be your next goal. But don't roam around without a goal. Remember, changing a stack is easy, changing track is tough. Like you are a Laravel developer, now you want to learn Nest.js. It is very easy, because like every framework has something more or less. But if you want to change track, like from a backend developer you want to be a front-end developer, or from front-end developer you want to be a machine learning expert, that is tough. That will take time. So when you are changing a stack, you can keep 15 days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks in hand. But when you are changing a track, keep in mind that you will need at least 6 months or more to be expert. So make sure you have that much time in your hand. Then FOMO trap, you should not fall for this. In the community, you see there are a lot of advanced posts, there are a lot of posts about different ideas, different things, but don't fall for that. Those are really discrete ideas, discrete topics. If you just read about that topic, that is enough. Don't feel like that, okay, there may be billion others topic like that which I don't know. Don't think like that. And appreciation is good. Over appreciation will bring you down, just as I said before. Stay competitive. Compete yourself, compete with others to build knowledge. Stay competitive always. And learn to negotiate in every give and take. This is important in personal life also. When you are sharing something, giving something, what you get. When you are working extra hour for the company or the team, what you get. So when you are doing something out of your specified role, what you are getting in exchange. Think that. Always the exchange should not be money. It can be like your knowledge is being enriched. That is also an exchange. Don't fall for the pack. Build individual persona. We often see in influencer community or in every community in Bangladesh, people move in pack. Like these 5 brothers, they will move together. These 10 brothers, they will move together. These 3 brothers, they will move together. This is a bad culture. This is why bad culture, because in that pack there is no criticism. People don't challenge others. As a result, people feel like, okay, they are the god. This stops you from growing. When you cannot criticize, when you cannot challenge others' opinion, others' engineering decision, that is why you are stuck. So you may respect someone, okay, I love Jahan Bhai, But if you cannot challenge Jahan Bhai's decision, if you cannot challenge Jahan Bhai's technical uh, decisions, then this is not a good thing. You should not always praise people. You need to have the right to challenge. And when the community is like that, you cannot challenge it. It's being taken as beadabi. Then this is a wrong community to mix with. So build your individual persona. Don't present yourself like I am Choto Bhai of Jahan Bhai. Don't express yourself like I am one of the member of that Jahan Bhai community, Jahan Bhai pack. Be yourself. People will know you by your capability, by your forum presence, by your competency, by your projects, by your personality. And when you are doing any project, when you are practicing for any project, don't just think about generic project. I see a lot of people doing simple blog, simple e-commerce, simple post software, this and that. It actually doesn't add up. Doesn't add up from this. If I see what you have done, okay, I have a live link of an e-commerce project that I have done. Not only that person, maybe I will find 10,000 software developers of the same stack who have this similar kind of e-commerce project and a live link there. So how do I differentiate him? So thinking about this generic problem doesn't actually enrich your portfolio. Also, when you are solving a already solved problem, you are actually memorizing things. You are not challenging yourself. You are not using your technical knowledge. You are not really doing something different. So you are not challenging your mind. You are not challenging your brain. So think about real life project. Like if you think e-commerce, think that what kind of scalability eValley had. How would you solve it? Then if you are thinking about maybe healthcare solution, don't think about hospital management or something. Think about something like how the chronic care management works in America. How do they track people and track people's health? Think like that. So think about real life problems different companies or different teams are solving, and try to implement those, try to think about those, how you will approach those. And now when you learn a new language, there is really not a big list to learn. A very simple approach can help you to learn a new language. First, you see if there is any platform dependency or not, like it is compiled or interpreted. For running PHP, what you need. For running Python, what you need to install. Then what are the executables or output? Is it compiled or interpreted? Like Go gives some binary, PHP doesn't give anything. And maybe there it may lead to some performance over it also. Like if you do some caching on opcache on PHP, it will give you some performance boost up. Then learn about the data types it supports. Then programming paradigms it supports, OOP or procedural scripting. Then learn about the syntax. The first 4 points, it was all about like just looking at the document and pick a book. Syntax, it takes time, but when you start using it, at some point you will get habituated with it. But syntax in any language is not more than 3 or 4 hour read. Then performance factor, read about it, how to improve the performance, how to deploy it properly, etc. etc. You will find in the documentation. Then take a look at the memory management, if it is automatic or manual, about the garbage collection thing. Then if it supports multi-threading concurrency, try to implement those, try to implement some locks, race condition handling, etc. See those. And another hacky way is to just search on Google that interview questions in JavaScript, or if you are learning JavaScript, interview question in PHP. If you are learning PHP, you will get a long list. You can also type on Gemini or ChatGPT, give me 200 best interview questions or common interview question on this language. You will get the question, and those questions actually are the learning points, what you need to know about that language. And when you are learning a new web framework, like from Laravel you are going to Django, or Django you are going to Nest.js, we think that okay, it's a lots of things to learn. That's why we tend to really get people very much proficient in some framework. We don't look for the competency that he really understands system, he really understands problems. We try to rely on their framework knowledge very much. But see, every framework is solving the same problem in a different language, in a different syntax. So when you are going to learn a new web framework, first see how to configure it, how to install it, the directories and module structure. and how maybe you can deploy it as a monolith, how maybe you can use it for microservice or service based solution, etc, etc, etc. In that you can also see how to add a new package to it, add a new module to it, how to integrate third party packages, etc. After that, see the architecture. Obviously most frameworks now use the clean architecture, so it is MVC or MVP or something like that. You see that. After that, every framework is doing first routing, then form handling, then middleware, then for interacting with database some type of ORM. There is authentication authorization support, maybe it has some templating support also, and you need to take a look at this session how it handles login and other things. Then you try to see how it configures things like database, caching, file system, queuing, background processing, how these are handled. Then after practicing those syntax and maybe making some small REST API with it, you can go for the deployment and performance hack, how to improve performance, how to deploy on Docker, or how to write a Docker script to deploy it, etc, etc. Then for deeper knowledge, you can see its request response cycle. You can see how it handles the errors and exceptions centrally. Then you need to do the testing and logging. For database and testing, you can see if there is any figure support or third-party library, if the ORM providing migration support or not. And another important thing is if there is dependency injection by default, or you need to implement it yourself. There are some security aspects also, if the CORS, CSRF, encryption, hashing, verification, rate limiting, etc. Almost every framework has this, or they have community support or library or built-in library for those. You need to just explore those. Okay, these are present, I need to do this. Like for say for token-based authentication or OAuth, Laravel has passport, Node.js has passport also. And you for different kind of solutions, you can see if there is broadcast support, scheduling, cron, event, and localization, etc. So more or less, these are the things you need to learn you need to look for when learning a new framework. You just go to the recommendation, look for this thing, practice 2 or 3 days, and you have learned a new framework. And work in a small project for 15 days or 1 month, you are a master of a new framework. So after going through this webinar, what you can do to improve yourself or to start the process? First thing is, if you don't maintain a daily routine, start right now. If your resume is not ready, write it to your to-do list that you need to prepare your resume. If your LinkedIn profile is not ready, add it to your to-do list also. If you have any live project or portfolio, very good. If you don't have, add it to your to-do list. Try to do some open source contributions, go through different libraries of your stack, see if there is any issues, or if you can add any extra performance boosting thing or add any extra feature. Try to do that. Maybe first 10 or 15 or 20 or 50 will be rejected, but if 1 or 2 is added, that will really give you a boost to your portfolio. And if you have time, try to write an article on any topic every 15 days. Maybe you can write an article right now about this webinar, whatever you learned in this webinar. You can write an article on your own language. And subscribe to tech channels on YouTube, Medium, Daily Dev, newsletter, and everything. Subscribe. Like if you subscribe to newsletter of Redis, if there is a new thing in Redis, you know it. If you subscribe to newsletter of Nginx, if there is a new update, you know it. And try to put everything on your calendar. Don't miss any event, don't miss any talks, etc. I have seen people subscribing to events. I have seen people subscribing, even giving money, paying money for a webinar and then not attending it. This is because they don't maintain calendar. As a backend developer or software engineer, you are a really busy person. This is not like other career. This profession needs research. This profession needs you to engage your brain. So if you do not maintain a calendar, you are going to suffer. So that is all about approach to backend career. I hope this talk will give some perspective to everyone. Thank you.